How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. We also got to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. So today we're going to be talking about SNDL Sundial growers that definitely showed some strong performance inside the market today. But before we get started, of course, I got to go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below in the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're considering to take a position, I highly suggest you watch the full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is the MORE Act. Yes, this is the legislation dealing with cannabis, and it's definitely had an impact on the overall sector, and a lot of stocks have been able to actually benefit from this. And then going to be talking about Amazon's stance on this whole thing as well. This is definitely a must-watch part of the video because it'll be very interesting to see how these developments actually continue. And then we're going to be doing a technical analysis, taking a look at the price action, looking out for those areas if it decides to pull back while having some momentum where you may be able to take advantage of an opportunity, and also looking at those areas of resistance. I feel this is very key because once we pass certain areas of resistance, we can see some strong moves to the upside because, again, this does bring in more volume, more demand, and shows up on more radars. And we're going to be taking a look at the short interest information. What is the overall market sentiment for SNDL? Is it positive or is it negative? This is definitely going to have an impact in regards to short squeeze potential here, and this is why we're covering it on this channel. And then when all of that is done, I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts. So let's get into it. Now let's go over the MORE Act and also the steps that Amazon is taking, which I feel definitely has an impact on the industry overall in general. So here it comes. Driving much of the action is the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act. So that's what MORE is actually short for, right? Which was introduced by Democratic House Judiciary Committee Chair Jerry Nadler last Friday. The bill would decriminalize marijuana at the federal level by removing it from a list of controlled substances and reassesses previous marijuana convictions. Despite the low chances that the act is passed in the Senate due to the filibuster, increasing media coverage is likely to attract the attention of the average retail investor. So this is why they're saying, hey, these stocks have been running up due to the fact that this has been brought up again, and we're really pushing to see some change and also seeing the Democrats actually take a look at it. So let's continue. They noted that Sundial and Tilray were the 4th and 7th most mentioned stocks in the popular Reddit Wall Street Bets forum on Tuesday. Of course, you know they got to drop the Wall Street Bet mention in there, but you guys know already SNDL definitely has garnered a lot of attention on the stock market, especially back in 2020 and as well going into 2021. But we know and we do see the potential in SNDL, so it's not to mean that it's just a stock that is just not destined to go anywhere. They definitely have some potential. But taking all of this into consideration here, this is definitely huge. If they're able to pass this act through, what does it mean? A lot of these stocks I could definitely see running up big time because it does open up the playing field. It makes sure to give cannabis sector better overall positive market sentiment. Now, what does all of this have to do with Amazon? So Amazon taking all of this into consideration and why it's very significant, they're saying as far as their overall process when it comes to employees and as well and when it comes to hiring, yes, they're going to be expunging or ignoring any criminal convictions in regards to marijuana, cannabis, however you want to call it. So this is definitely huge here. And the reason why it's huge, you have a big company like Amazon. This is definitely showing to have an impact on corporate America overall in general. While other companies actually follow suit with Amazon will be very interesting, and I feel like the likelihood is very high, especially if it's decriminalizing cannabis at the federal level. So Amazon taking this first mover approach is definitely something that is great to see. And again, if this bill ends up going through and this act ends up being passed, I can see other companies following suit, and Amazon will be leading the forefront there. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Now let's get into the technical analysis. analysis, and as well as taking a look at the short interest, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for SNDL Sundial growers. So let's see how it performed on a day. So we ended up closing at $1.13, being up 13% on the day. On the low, it tested $1.02, and then on the high, testing $1.15. Quite the strong day we saw from SNDL. Let's see how it lined up with our indicators. So it is well above the 100-day, the 200-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So it is looking very bullish here. When we first spoke about it, I told you guys to keep it on your radar or think about getting into a position when it was in this 70-cent range. So it's great to see this run up that is happening. What we want to take a look at now is an area of resistance for SNDL. So we definitely have a resistance area here right around this 120, but the great part about it is if with a lot of buying pressure and a lot of volume, we can easily get past this, and then I'll be looking for us to test the levels of 125. If we get past 125, then I'll be looking forward to 130. So those are the areas that we need to keep an eye on, and are one of the predictions, not even one, few of the predictions that I have going in for tomorrow. But the first thing is we want to see SNDL get to that 120 level. We can see in after hours it's actually at 116. If you're going to be looking out for a pullback, then definitely be looking out right here at this $1 level. If you don't get that $1 level, then I would definitely be keeping an eye, because it does show some support here right around this $1.03 to 2-cent level where it pulled back to today. If you don't see that either, and like I said, make sure that you have your right risk management measures in place, then I'll be looking out here for around $1.05, $1.06. So what I'm looking forward to tomorrow is $1.20 for SNDL and some more moves to the upside if we end up getting that trend and that bullish pattern actually continues. So we're now on Fintel. We're going to be taking a look at the short interest information for SNDL. So for the short volume ratio, it stands at 33%, and this is taking close as of yesterday on June the 1st. So definitely some short squeeze potential here since it is above 21. Short shares availability stands at 5.3 million, updated 23 minutes ago, and the short borrow free rate stands at 1.61%. If we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, SNDL is definitely no stranger being above 21. This is part of the reasons why when we see strong moves in price action and then shorts are forced to cover, we could see the stock really take off. But for the most part, as far as for the overall market sentiment, there's many that are saying, hey, the price needs to be a lot lower, so that's why overall it is negative. But do keep in mind of the fact when you have other catalysts that go on outside of the market, it definitely will have an impact on the price action as well. So for my final thoughts for SNDL Sundial growers, when we're taking a look at the short interest information, we already know SNDL is no stranger to having a high on the short volume ratio being above 21%. It's definitely used to being in that territory. But one thing we also got to take into consideration the fact there's also outside environments that are going on, which we covered, which is the MORE Act, and also seeing this move from Amazon definitely does serve as a great catalyst overall in general. And yes, it does serve for the present. It does give a little bit more speculation around things, but again, if this ends up going through, I feel like a lot of these cannabis stocks, the sector overall, is going to move. Like I say, rising tides float all boats. The next thing that I want to go over as well, and I think is very key here to know, definitely there's a lot of momentum here, and that resistance level that I was talking about right at that $1.20, if SNDL is able to pass that, especially during regular trading hours, you might be able to see that action in the pre-market. But if it happens during regular trading hours, I'll be looking forward to seeing a big time move from SNDL. So we're looking for that $1.20 level to be surpassed or be touched to make a move to the upside. Could it pull back? Of course. This is the penny stock. You guys know already it comes with a lot of volatility. And like I was saying previously, if you would have got into this play when we were talking about, hey, we feel like SNDL's kind of hit the bottom, it's right on the low, right in that 70-cent area, then you're definitely up quite a bit. I know many of you have already taken profits. You've told me already. That is also good to see as well. But also we got to understand the fact we still can't ignore the potential that is SNDL as well. So I know some of you, or many of you, are also long in the stock as well. We've already seen, hey, they have a lot of cash on hand. They've been making the right investments. We've been seeing some improvements on their balance sheets as well. So just seeing things open up even further, and also the size and potential of how the markets can be, especially when legalization comes across the whole entire board. SNDL is definitely looking really good. But as far as momentum and swing trades, there's definitely been some opportunities that have been presented. So that's what I wanted to kind of update you guys on. I hope you found this video helpful, and we'll be talking real soon.